welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to talk about a very exciting and very important topic, and it is how to pass NCLEX exam on a first attempt. And I'm going to share with you some tips on how to be successful in this exam. And I have my notes with me, so I will make sure I don't forget anything to share with you that you're going to have a successful attempt, okay? For those who are rewriting the exam, it may also be a beneficial video for you, okay? So watch this video until the end, because one of the questions I get from my students is about if my scores are not high enough on the resources, should I go and try to write the NCLEX exam, okay? So we're gonna talk about it at the end in this video. So first I'm going to share with you some of the resources that I use to pass the exam, and the ones I'm going to start talking about first, they're not going to be as strong, but they're still very good resources that I think everybody should try them out at least. So first one is called Lippincott. It's called a PassPoint. So this particular resource was recommended by our school. And by the way, all the information could be found in the description link below, okay? So I'm gonna link all the necessary information with their websites and everything, and where you can get it. So the Lippincott PassPoint is actually, it consists of personalized adaptive practice and simulated exams. So basically what it is a whole bunch of questions with rationales, and it gives an opportunity for the students to see their growth. So the better you do, the better your graphs will go higher and higher, for you to understand that you're growing in your knowledge. And with every question from the starting point, you will start doing exactly that. So do I feel that this resource is good enough just to pass the exam? No, it's absolutely not. And we'll move on to the second one. It's actually a book called Prioritization, Delegation, and Assignment. This book is actually very inexpensive. I feel it is very important to have this particular book because it will teach you how to be familiar with the questions with regards to prioritization, delegation, and assignment. I feel it helped me personally a lot. It's not a big or a thick book, it's actually quite small, but there is a very important information. I think for the amount of money, it's very important to have this particular book to pass the exam. Again, this is not going to be enough for you to pass the exam just with this book. Now, another one that I have is called, maybe you have heard of it, it's called Uworld. So I think this is a great resource with a lot of questions. However, when I was studying for my NCLEX exam, I felt that it was a lot of content based resource, and then I had to make a lot of notes from the information that was offered on this particular website. Is it great? Absolutely yes. And can you pass the exam just with Uworld alone? Possibly. But number one on this list that I felt was the best one was Kaplan. Now there's different variations for Kaplan. I chose the self-paced course, which has QBank, and which you're going to be able to practice just like Uworld from the Kaplan. So now, what I feel is necessary and the recipe for success to pass the NCLEX is to have these resources especially for the first timers, and those even who are writing second, third, or other attempts, is to have all these resources and to work with them a little bit from one, from another, and from all of them, to mix different questions, because they do offer different things within these specific resources. Now, before we go further, we're gonna talk about how much time do you really need to pass and to go in and to write your exam. Now, if you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and leave a comment below if you want to ask me anything about NCLEX or any other topic, and we'll definitely review it. So now, personally, this is what I think. So the question is, how much time do you need to practice for NCLEX? This is a very important question because many students who have got their degrees and say that, yeah, we went and we wrote the exam in 2 months or 1 month and they passed it. While for others, they need more time. For me personally, I took 6 months to study for NCLEX. And I feel that it is very individualized, where students will have different things going on in their life. So different responsibilities. For example, one might have family and has 2 or 3 kids, while another student might have 1 or 2 part-time jobs. So it is very important to see how much time works for you. I think anywhere from 3 to 6 months to go and try to attempt, like to get a first attempt and to get your feet wet to understand how the exam really works. How did you feel about it? It's okay at that time frame to go in and try to write this exam. I feel that if it's less than 2 months, there is a lot of questions, there's still green in a way that you might need more time to practice. Now, another thing that is very important is the practice questions themselves. So the exam consists of 75 questions to 265 questions. So you can pass at 75 questions at any point in time. Now, when I started studying for my NCLEX, I started doing only 25 questions per day. Okay, now I looked at my progress within the 6 months, how I grew and understood the questions. Now, what's very important is not only to understand the question, is also to understand the answers that you're answering. So the rationales, and not only the right ones, but the wrong ones as well, because you will be, the more questions you do, okay, the more questions you do, you will be more and more familiar why specific rationale should not be selected. Okay, so the question I often get from my students now, utilizing all these resources, if you should be, now when you're utilizing, let's say all 4 that I've used to pass this exam, and your scores are not in the 90s, okay, or above, should you go and attempt to write this exam? Does not matter really if you're going the first time or you're going after, like second, third attempt, whatever that may be, and your scores are still in, let's say, 50, 60, 70 zone or anywhere in between. It will fluctuate. So each exam that you will be practicing from any of these Uworld, Kaplan, or Lippincott PassPoints, they will fluctuate. Let's say one day you can get an 80 and the next day you can get only 55, and the question is, should you really go? Now, what I want to explain, take it with a grain of salt. I think it's very, very important to understand the concept between the exams that these programs or resources offer and are based on a percentage, okay? Now, what's important to know that NCLEX is not based on the percentage, and it is a very, very different test. It determines how safe is the nurse to go into the entry-level practice. Are you safe to care for your patients, okay? It is a very different exam from all of the exams that you've taken in the nursing school, because in the nursing school, the exams are based basically on the nursing school knowledge, right? So nursing knowledge based. So the NCLEX exam evaluates application and analysis using nursing knowledge that you've previously learned in school. What's important to know is that your critical thinking is evaluated. So your critical thinking skills to make the nursing judgment. And it is not made, listen to this carefully, it's not based on a percentage. So the answer to this question, so if your scores are not high enough in the Kaplan and you've studied for several months, let's say 6 days a week, is it good enough to go and attempt to write the exam? So what's important here is that for you to be able to practice approximately by the end of 3 or 6 month time frame, 300 questions per day. So at one sitting, which means, so when I started, I told you I was practicing only 25 questions per day. So as the time moved forward, I was able to move from 25 to 50 questions per day with all rationales and trying to understand the best to my abilities, what's going on within the question, what's the question is asking, and how to approach them, okay? And so when I reached to that level of a 6 months mark, I was able to do 300 questions per sitting, which means I would sit down and write these questions. Doesn't matter where I'm pulling these questions from, Uworld or Kaplan. Now I work through all the resources. Remember, it's very important not to stick to just one, but multiple. Pulling your exams from there and trying to fulfill this 300 questions. Why I'm saying 300? Because you could end up with 265 and you're just doing that little bit more to make sure you're going to be okay, 265 mark, okay? So these tips and the information I've provided to you for the first attempters, or if you're going after, I hope it's very satisfactory and it's beneficial for you. And thanks very much for watching this video. I hope that you liked this video, and you can share this video with your friends or anyone who wishes. I do help students to achieve writing classes. I do writing classes, and if you're interested, please comment or message me, and that's it. Thanks so much for watching. Bye now.